Hi, Director Doug here, and I don't know if you noticed in today's show that Gene mentioned something about, being produced from around the world and on a boat. Well, that's actually true. Since September of 2024, my wife and I have been living on a boat, and we have actually been doing all of the production from the boat. And I'm on the boat right now. We're heading north on the Chesapeake Bay. It's now, when I'm recording this, it's May of, or late April of 2025. And we're about to take the boat out for the season and head back to Canada. But since September of 2024, we've been living on a boat. We've sailed to the US, we've sailed down through Florida, over to the Bahamas, sailed all around Bahamas, and now we're heading back through the US to Deltaville, Virginia, where we're going to store the boat. And so this is the boat we've been sailing on. It's called Iterum. We're not going to be on the boat much longer as we're getting the boat stored. But coming back into the cockpit here, and my wife Shelly is over here. Let's get a shot. There's Shelly. She's at the helm right now, steering. Actually, we're in autopilot right now. So all she's doing is
making sure we don't hit that ship out.
Yes. So the boat steers itself. It's got a computerized autopilot, and so she's just on watch, making sure everything's okay. But yeah, this is the boat we've been on for the past few months, and I've been directing from the boat. So why don't we take a look inside?
Whoa, let's back up. Before we take a look inside of the boat, why don't we answer some questions here, like how did we get to the point where we were living on a boat? Where did we get the boat? What's the story there? Well, about 8 years ago, I was watching a flying video, because as you know, I fly. I have a small airplane I built myself. In fact, you can watch a video of me flying around on the Director Doug area of the web page here. Just go back and check it out. But I was watching a flying video, and the guy in the video was delivering some supplies to a couple that lived on a boat in the Bahamas. And I thought, oh, that looks really interesting. So I called my wife down and we started watching their YouTube channel, because this couple that lived on a boat had a YouTube channel. And we thought, well, this looks really interesting. This seems like something we might enjoy. We've never really sailed before, but it looks like fun. And so I started looking for boats, and boats are expensive. And there was no way we could afford to do this. It was a nice dream, but no way we could afford to do it. So, I was looking casually at to see if I could find a boat that we could afford. And as I was looking around and investigating different types of boats, I saw an ad for a PDQ 36, and a very well-built boat. But this particular boat had been in an accident where it had capsized on Lake Erie in a 90-mile-an-hour wind. And it was available as a damaged boat. It was for sale as a damaged boat for very little money. And so we thought, I wonder if we would be able to fix it up, or what it would cost to fix up, because it didn't cost much to buy. And so we went down and looked at it, and well, the first view of it was a little disappointing. I mean, it was dirty. The lifelines, the rails along the side of the boat were all mangled and twisted. The stainless steel frame on the back was all twisted. The hard top was gone and damaged. It was sitting under the boat. The rails at the front of the boat were all twisted up. The interior was filthy. It was full of diesel fuel. All the liner, like the vinyl liner and the headliner, had all been removed so the boat would dry out. The cabinets were all removed. But it was a solid boat. There was nothing structurally wrong with it. And so we thought about it for a bit, and then we thought, well, yeah, we can probably fix it up. We knew we'd have to do all the work ourselves, because there was no way we could afford to have someone do it for us. So after we looked at the boat, we hummed and hawed for a bit, and then finally decided, okay, I guess we can take on this project. It seemed a little overwhelming, but we thought we'd give it a shot. And we knew that we would have to do it ourselves, because to hire people to do all the jobs that needed to be done on the boat would be it was too expensive. We couldn't afford it. So we put in all new interior panels on the roof, on the walls. We refinished the floors. My wife Shelly did all the brand new upholstery. And so this is kind of what the boat looks like now inside. completely different from when we saw it the first time. Everything's been cleaned up. The interior basically is completely new. We spent an entire winter doing a completely new interior. We got, the dining room area. We have a kitchen, or galley, as they call it on a boat. We have a couple of bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and all of this, we did all the refinishing work ourselves, and we were pretty happy with how it turned out. We also painted the exterior of the boat, and we managed to buy the paint we needed, and we did it ourselves, and it turned out really well. Like I say, we worked on it for a couple of years, and then we headed south. We left on September 9, 2024 from Bowmanville, Ontario. Went to Oswego, New York, which is on the south side of Lake Ontario. Had our mast taken down because we were going to travel through the Erie Canal, and the bridges in the Erie Canal don't lift, so the boat wouldn't fit under with the mast up. Went over to the Hudson River, had the mast put back up on the Hudson River, and sailed down to New York Harbor. And spent 4 days in New York, exploring New York City, seeing some of the museums and some of the sights in New York City. Traveled down the East Coast, spent some time in Annapolis, which is kind of like the haven for sailing. They had a big boat show there while we were in Annapolis, and we spent time, about a week and a half there. Then slowly worked our way down the East Coast of the United States, stopping in a number of different small towns along the way. Just exploring, having a great time. We arrived in Florida around Thanksgiving time, then sailed the boat down to South Florida, where we left it for 4 weeks, flew home, spent time with our family at Christmas, flew back down to the US, got on the boat again, and then sailed over to the Bahamas. Well, the Bahamas is beautiful. It's known for its crystal clear water and great sailing, and we just had a wonderful time there. We explored quite a few places in the Bahamas. We explored the Abaco Islands, which is in the north end of the Bahamas. We spent some time, quite a couple or 3 weeks, exploring Eleuthera Island, which is kind of in the middle of the Bahamas, and then headed over to the Exumas, which are known for their beauty and crystal clear water as well, even more so than the rest of the Bahamas. And we spent a fair amount of time cruising up and down the Exuma Islands, visiting places like Wardwick Wells, Staniel Key, Norman's Key, a number of really, really beautiful spots. Iguana Beach, which is really cool because you have all these iguanas when you land on the beach come flying out and wanting to be fed. And so we spent some time on Iguana Beach there, just having a good time with all those iguanas, feeding them a little bit of bread. But after about 3 months in the Bahamas, we decided that it's time to head on home, so we headed back to Florida. We were in Florida by early April, cruised up the eastern seaboard of Florida, and headed to Deltaville, Virginia, which is where I was when we started this video, when I was actually on the boat. And in Deltaville, we had the boat hauled out of the water and stored there, where it'll be stored for the summer. And then in October again, we're going back to the boat. We're going to head back down to the Bahamas. So there you have it. That was our adventure this year, and I was able to continue to work from the boat while we were sailing. And the reason I was able to do that was because we had a service called Starlink on our boat, which is a satellite internet service that allows you to connect to the internet. Doesn't matter where you are on the planet. We can be sailing across open ocean, we can be in a secluded bay, sailing down a river, doesn't matter. We can connect to the internet just as easily as I can here at home. And so we were able to connect to our actors. I was able to connect to Voice of Prophecy in Colorado to record Miss Jean. And then on my computer system on the boat, I was able to do all of my editing. And when the program was finished, I could send it to Voice of Prophecy so you guys could hear the program. So we plan to do this again this fall, 2025, late October. We're going to get back to the boat, we're going to head back down, and we're going to go over to the Bahamas again. This time we're going to go further south than we did. There's a whole pile of islands we never explored. And you know what? This year, I'm going to plan on posting regularly different snippets from our adventure. And so just, keep checking out the website here. We'll have more information as time goes by as to how you can follow us and find out what's going on. And we'll give more details on that. And we'll post regularly. And we'll probably also post some interesting things like, how do the sails work on a boat? How do you anchor on a boat? How do you cook on the boat? How do you make water on the boat? How do you make your electricity? And so we'll probably do all of those things from the boat, just tiny little snippets, just really quick educational pieces on how the boat works and how we manage to live and work and sail on the boat. Anyway, I'm so glad you're able to join us for this, and I was able to tell you about our adventure and a little bit about how we got to that point. And I look forward to connecting with you on a semi-regular basis. We'll see how often once we are sailing again this fall. Anyway, keep exercising your faith. I'll see you soon.